So I would encourage everyone in the audience to go watch Eric's most recent video on his channel that has my name in the title. I would love for you to go watch that and for you to evaluate whether or not I have misrepresented anyone, and if so, you can let me know. And honestly, I just want people to hear both sides of everything. So don't take any video that I made for face value. I always put the links to my sources in the description. So go watch the original thing to make sure that I'm doing that. Anyway, I just want to throw out there that I think everyone should go watch that and evaluate for yourselves.
We can hear you. We can hear you. And maybe when you get an angry face, we don't have to see you.
So Eric, I don't know if you want to press on that any further, but
no, I think Paul. I think it's fine. I know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what I'd want to say as I got the thinking face stroking my beard here. But yeah, people can go and evaluate, make their own decision. And so
what was the well, look, I'm not even kidding. I didn't even watch the original full debate. I was in the chat at a dental office when that debate was happening, joking around like the Bible tells me so, and I didn't even listen. So what was the issue? I don't even know what the issue is.
I'll try and describe it, and then Paul is free to clarify anything. But basically, he had said that Jonathan McClatchy said that in the course of the debate, he talked about what he wasn't so concerned about what historians should do or what they do, but what they should do. And what he was talking about was he doesn't think that they should look at the Gospels as like a pericope by pericope kind of thing. And so it's not like you should just kind of like use the criteria, criteria of like dissimilarity, embarrassment, multiple attestation, all that stuff, and just go story by story by story and go, okay, this one probably is something that is accurate. And this one, we don't really know about. We just got to kind of feign amnesia every time that we come up to a different story in the Gospels. And what it seemed like Paul understood him as was he's saying that if a document isn't like 100% true or 100% false, like if it's 100%, this is where you can jump in, Paul, because now I'm not even probably saying it right. But what you seem to take him as Paul saying is like, okay, well, either a document has to be 100% accurate or 100% inaccurate, and you just chuck it out. And there's not like this middle ground. And I saw that as like, wow, like that's not really what he was trying to say. And what you and your conversation with Dillahunty was a little bit different. And I felt like it was just like a huge straw man, because clearly like he's not an idiot. Like I don't think anybody would really say that. But I appreciate that you're saying, hey, watch my video, watch Eric's video, let Jonathan speak for himself, defend himself, and come to your own conclusion. So, I think that's good. And that's a start. I just thought like, wow, this obviously is a misrepresentation. I feel like we should try to really steelman each other when we're critiquing each other. But I know as a creator that doesn't always happen at the same time either. And I can at least empathize like somewhat there. I just thought that one was like kind of a big gaffer though. It was just like, whoa, like, I don't know.
So you probably are not surprised to know I completely stand by. I've watched your video. I've watched the debate several times. I completely stand by my assessment to this day. I can explain why if you want. I have consulted dozens of people to see whether or not I was actually misrepresenting Jonathan in any way, Christian and non-Christian. I've yet to have anyone tell me that I mischaracterized him other than yourself and Jonathan. So I'm still kind of waiting.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people, and it's not, I don't think it's like, and I'm not trying to start like a big argument or anything, because I don't know, maybe I'm too nice and I just like getting along with people, and I like you guys. To me, a lot of people that I talked to were just shocked, like, what? Like, that's obviously not what he's saying. That's clearly not what he's saying.
Well,
he himself,
Eric, real quick. I want to ask something, because we got your side and explaining Jonathan a little in there, and we're getting deeper into this, but might as well. Paul, what were you trying to say? All right. And get us into it. I want to hear what's happening.
Jonathan, in his opening, said that there are three ways to interpret testimony. You can interpret testimony as it is true, that it is a lie, or that they are mistaken. And he said, put on the table, sometimes there's a fourth category of that it's a combination of those things.
Sure.
But during the debate, and I pressed him on this several times and allowed him to change it. He said, I take off of the table the idea that it can be a combination when it comes to the Gospels. That as far as Jonathan is concerned, and I asked him to repeat this, he takes off the table that it can be a combination. When you take off the table that it can be a combination, then you are saying it is 100% one of those things.
Yeah, well, first of all, he doesn't, and forgive me for interrupting, and feel free to,
okay,
he's not an inerrantist. He actually will point to specific places in the Gospels where he does believe that there are contradictions. What he's saying is that when you look at the document as a whole, it doesn't seem to be written by somebody who is trying to give you all of these details and facts about what happened, but then suddenly felt liberties to kind of be sneaky and devious and like insert fictions and stories and different things like that. So what he's making an argument is that this isn't the kind of authors that the gospel writers are.
He's arguing then that if he's saying he's not an inerrantist, then he actually is putting number 4 on the table, that there is a combination of things.
Sure.
And if you watch that debate again,
sure,
because I asked him several times if he takes any possibility. So he took inerrancy off, like he didn't allow for an inerrantist position when he takes off the table that it can be a combination, because an inerrantist means that there is a combination.
Well, yeah, the thing where I push back with that, Paulo, is I almost called you Paulogia, Paulogia. And so where I push back on that is you don't need an infallible source to know that what they're giving you is reliable information.
But reliable information always can contain portions that are mistaken.
Well, I think that he's saying that mistaken is taken off the table because of the kind of experiences that they had and how close up they were, that they weren't the kind of
then he's taking things off the table and saying it's 100% one thing.
Yeah,
like
I think
this. I'm doing a
reducto
here. This is if you're taking his thing, if he takes that off the table, if you're not considering that it can be, I asked him, do you consider this document homogeneous in a way that historians don't? And he affirmed that he does. He affirms it as a homogeneous thing. So
he clarifies it in the stream. So like
that's fine. But during the debate and during the thing. So this is why I'm kind of like, I stand by, if you follow the logic presented in the debate, that you're treating it homogenously.
Yeah. So, but that's, again, you don't need a completely inerrant source to be giving you mostly or even strongly reliable information.
Strongly reliable
because I look super angry. No,
I think I see where the miscommunication is. If I can try to help here, and maybe I'm just misunderstanding Paul. But Paul, it sounds like what you're saying, because I haven't followed this drama, to be honest with you. So I'm recovering from surgery and I don't need that in my life. But it sounds like what's happening is the miscommunication is on that like 100% thing, because it sounds like what Jonathan and maybe you, Eric, are hearing is when Paul is saying 100% true, you're thinking possibly that Paul is talking about, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, the gospel stories being 100% true. But what Paul's actually saying is, no, here are the 4 options. The 4th option is it's a combination of like lie. It could be a combination of lie, mistaken, or truth. And by Jonathan eliminating that 4th option, Paul's then saying, okay, so either one of those 3 options has to be the 100% truth. So it's not about whether or not the Gospels are 100% true or not. It's about whether or not one of those options are 100% true. Am I understanding the situation correctly?
Stan Steelman you there, Paul?
That is correct, and that's
Okay.
is why when I've had so many people listen to it, it's like, Paul, the way you're characterizing this seems to make full sense, and
But do you think
maybe
that's
it's
what
on
Jonathan actually
Jonathan.
believes, though? Like, do you think that's what he actually believes?
Yes, I do. I do think that he wants to tell me that it's in one of those categories, and there's no combination.
Yeah. See,
because I'm taking him at his word.
I don't think that's what he was communicating. So, I mean, if you want to say like then, it was in the debate, like a failure for him to communicate that accurately.
I think he is still I do not think I'm mischaracterizing what was said, and I do not think that if there is something other than what I've said that it has been well articulated yet. And I maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I am one of these believers who, in the scriptures talks about that I just can't understand. That I
no, I don't think we're saying that about you, Paul. What I would say is, sure,
but I still I need this to be better articulated. If I'm wrong about this characterization,
I think again what he was saying is this particular approach that's used by scholars is not a good approach epistemologically, and that we should be looking at the documents as wholes. And if somebody is like way more often reliable than not, then that's what we're taking. So it's more of an objective kind of thing. But if you feel like there was something weird with the way he was phrased, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But I pressed back on that. Like I asked, I allowed for that to be a thing, and Jonathan kept saying that he wanted to treat these things homogeneously when I specifically used that phrase.
Well, yeah, but homogeneously, again, I just would push back, and we're probably just going in circles at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, that's okay.
So this is why I say go listen for yourselves, because I completely stand by my characterization, and as was reasonably steelmanned here. I think Jonathan doesn't feel that was me. I'm also very confused as to motivation for asking for apologies.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you. You'd have to talk to him.
Yeah,
I can't really adjudicate that.
Isn't that a bit far though? Like you need to go. You stained my record, or so. I don't understand, because it's like maybe it's a misunderstanding, but like putting it all on Paul. He's not owning any responsibility for miscommunication. And I haven't even watched it, but it sounds like there's some miscommunication here in some way. Paul understood him as this. If you were so upset about it, then, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to go out and scream on social media about it.
Here's what I would recommend. Okay. And I'm trying to work. It's like, I feel like I'm in that scene in Our Brother We're Out Though. He's like, I'm voting for yours truly. And, the other guy's like, no, you got to follow me. And he's like, well, I'm with you fellers, but obviously I'm in the middle of this. I'm friends with Jonathan. I think that to me, when I heard it, I was like, wow, how did he get that out of that? But Fan standing here, he's saying, this is what I hear you saying. So I'm willing to give some benefit there. But I don't think that's what he meant at all. And I think just out of charity, when you're making a video, and this is something that we all could do, myself included, is just try and clarify the other person's position before you kind of put them on blast. But I don't want to tell you how to run your channel. And so I just think it's
Paul saying he did clarify it during the debate.
Yeah, I get that. But to me,
so if there is a change after, and Paul's already done this, then instead of,
I don't think there was a change.
Instead of being like, oh, he did me dirty and wrong and things like that, there's a different way I personally would approach. Like if you misunderstood me in my last dialogue with you and Michael Jones, right? I'd be like, hey bro, that's not what I meant, or not what I said. And there's sometimes I feel like we're talking past each other, but I'm not going to go out and go, Eric Manning, how dare you? That's a little weird to me.
For me, it's such a ridiculous kind of straw man, because it's not what he believes. But you've explained yourself, Paul.
I still hold by it. So
yeah, so you've explained yourself. I would just say the best thing for people to do, because I don't want to take 20 minutes going back and forth on this. Just watch our response, watch Paul's video, decide for yourself. I'm not, gonna sit here and rake you over the coals and say that you're a horrible human being. I think I want, if anything, I would like for to come out of this is that we just try and represent each other as best we can. Maybe you felt like you did that. If you feel like I do you dirty, I want you to know me about it, because
I'm making a post.
I want you to tell me about it. And Derek, I want you to tell me about it, because if I say something in one of my videos responding to you guys that you're like, well, that ain't right. I want to know about it. I want to get it right. Because
I try when I do a response video, but I also do so much that 90% of the time people who do videos and they are talking about me, or they do, and they're wrong, it doesn't bother me. I seriously, it doesn't even matter to me, to be honest.
Yeah, like I can't imagine asking for an apology if someone did that, right?
Yeah,
like, that would be.
Is that permission to just make a bunch of response videos to you, Derek, just calling you dumb? And
yes,
stuff?
you may.
I'm just kidding.
You know what they say? Any publicity is good.
Don't listen to this evil satanic atheist. That's going to be
there
the
are
title.
Plenty of those out there too.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Yeah. Last super chat by Vesper just asked, and I did have the thing up there saying no more super chat questions, but is faith not required to enter heaven? John 3:16. I suspect you guys would say, yeah, faith is required.
Faith is just not an intellectual assent. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Paul, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even expect you to bring that up, but you did, and I guess it was
up to Eric's whether he wanted to or not. So that was fine.
I hope that people really just see my heart, and that is like, I don't want this to be like Bloods and Crips gang war and this, that, or the other. And I'm put in these situations. I just want us all to like do as best as we can. I appreciate that you're willing to bring it up and speak about it. Now it's, it's stuff that you guys can work out amongst yourselves. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it will. I don't know. I just hope.
I want to know if I'm wrong. Like I definitely do. That's why I'm asking people to watch the video. Go watch his video and come back and tell me that I'm wrong. I'd love that.
Now he'll only talk to him if Jonathan publicly apologizes. I'm just kidding.
No.
Well, yeah. Let's not do that. I mean,
I'm teasing.
It just sounds to me like there's a talking past each other going on, but again, I haven't really watched everything. I'm just going based off what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah. I did ask him yesterday, like kind of a question in that vein, but I haven't read anything. He sent me some articles or something about this. It's just saying like, how did I phrase it? He's in the chat here, messenger. Here it is. So I asked him, I said, where would you point me for a one-stop shop of the incredibly historically reliability of the Gospels and Acts? When you say historically reliable, putting miracles aside, are you suggesting everything about them is historically accurate? If not everything, what in them isn't historically accurate? And he said, on internal evidence, he gave me this list of stuff I haven't even been able to look at. But what do you do? So
I say we just flame each other to death and just, maybe shanks at dawn.
Say we also just should be, instead of going through the data and reasoning through it, we should just try to reenact that debate scene from God's Not Dead.
That's right.